wanted this recorded it so I can always remember. This is the day after the event. The William Randolph Hearst celebration with Dr. Anthony Fauci as our special honoree. Before I share my thoughts, how are you guys doing? What do you think? How did it go yesterday?
I'll start real quick. It was it went wonderful. Clifton, great work. Team, great work. Robin, wonderful. Tanner, Diane, Zoe, killed it. That was, I think, it was a well-oiled machine. It seemed like it was a well-oiled machine, and everything just seemed to pop right. So, good job. So I'm really happy.
Robin, you wanted to say something?
Well, I was just really so excited all day yesterday leading up to it. And then I watched the event and, worked with the media like all day. It was just exhilarating. It really was, Bob. And as I had mentioned to you, this kind of event just makes us look so good. San Jose State, it elevates our stature. It's fantastic. I loved it.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. That's how I felt the whole time sitting there looking at the doctor. And Clifton, I was wondering what was going through your mind, because the news producer was going through my mind. Okay, we got to move stuff around and we have to do it real quick. What were you thinking?
Yeah, the first thought that went in my head was, okay, well, whatever Bob does, I'm going to follow. I'm just going to follow your lead, no matter what you do, because we'd have an earwig between each other. I was chatting with Juan so we could communicate a little bit, but we were just like, just follow Bob. I have plenty of buffer slides, so we can make it work.
Very good. You were definitely right on cue with me, and Juan was certainly in sync with me, because when Dr. Fauci came on board, first the beginning, I think everybody liked it, but some of us have seen it before. Those of you who have never seen that open sizzle, what was your thoughts about the combination of all those sound bites?
I hadn't seen it before. I really enjoyed it. Some of the feedback that I got in the class that I had right afterwards is that they wished that it was a little bit shorter just so that they could hear more of Fauci speaking directly. But I really appreciated how many thank yous there were included in with everything, as well as being able to hear from such a wide variety of people.
Very good. Thank you. Other thoughts? Anna, what are your thoughts about the program and that beginning part?
Beginning part or everything?
Well, first the beginning part, the thing that Adobe did for us, the video. What were your thoughts?
Fantastic. Adobe did a fantastic job.
Incredible. I mean, the sizzle had to be there. It was incredible. And Adobe did an incredible job at that. That was edited wonderful. That was a good sizzling sizzle. I've seen a lot of sizzles, but that was a really good sizzle.
But Anna, what were you saying? I didn't hear all of what you said.
Oh, sorry. I think the sizzle was fantastic. Adobe did a fantastic job editing the video.
Yes, they did. And we had Tanner to be credited for that. Tanner, tell them what you did to make that possible.
Yeah, so basically, I just constantly had the inbox open where everyone was sending all their videos in, just refreshing every hour, getting new videos in, put them in an Adobe timeline, and make sure that Paul Wright at Adobe had everything that he needed, every video, edited lightly at least, so he could have an easier time doing the final edit.
And how many videos did we get? Around 50, 60?
Final number was 61.
Wow, okay. And we had more that were planning to come in, but they didn't, thank goodness, because I think that would have drove them crazy. Other thoughts? Anybody else? Zoe, talk about it. What do you think about the system?
I thought it went really well. It was really fun to go to class afterwards because it was nice just to hear about how much people enjoyed it and everything. I think the response was just really good, and I had younger girls that I know in JMC tell me afterwards when I was talking to them about my experience doing this project that they want to join agency next year and work on this project specifically too, because they think it's so cool that I did that. So I thought that was really cool, and I don't know, I really enjoyed this experience, and I thought it was really great to finally see the event finally come together. So it's been really fun.
It was very fun, and all the emails. I had a ton of emails when the show was over, certainly texts. It was just amazing. People's reaction, words like fantastic, inspirational, very proud of San Jose State. Wow, you got a wonderful guest. He was fantastic. My thoughts very quickly would be this. I didn't know what to expect because I had never spoken directly to Dr. Fauci through this whole process. From the moment his office agreed in July until yesterday, it's always been through his staff. So when he came on board, actually, I didn't see him. I had to ask Juan, is he on there? Because I couldn't see him. He says, oh yeah, they have him imposed up in the corner. I said, okay, good. And I tried to wave at him, but he wasn't saying very much. We got into the program and I was feeling really good. What the sizzle was just what I envisioned. And then we came to Dr. Fauci's introduction and it was just stunning. He went right into his acceptance speech. And I know what was going through Clifton's mind. Oh my God, he just jumped 30 minutes into the program, So Clifton, what did we do when that happened?
We just coordinated with each other through the panelist chat. I mean, we kind of, it didn't surprise me all that much that happened. I'm glad we had the sizzle reel in there. I thought it was a little bit long, but I was kind of glad it was a little bit long because it got everybody into the event, because when Fauci came on, that was a little clunkier than we had hoped it would be. So it kind of gave everybody a chance to sort of get into the event since it was just very Zoomy versus a different type of production. But I just kind of figured we'd take the first half of the event and swap it with the second half of the event and call it a day. So I was kind of ready to do that. But then I also was like, whatever Bob introduces will follow. And we had the talk in the rehearsal of, if you change anything or go a different direction, just be very vocal about it. Like, and now we're going to play question number 2. And we would just follow along and do it. So it was good that we did all of that. That really helped keep it feeling like a production, even though it was just a simple Zoom.
Well, all those comments were very important because Dr. Fauci was paying attention to every single one of them. And that's why he jumped in. That's why he got really involved. I mean, he was tearing up. He was taking off his glasses. If you really watched him, Bob and I talked earlier today about certain people. When he saw there's some people that I think he knew from San Francisco. He was like shaking his head, like acknowledged, like, wow, him too. So that recognition, I think it was building inside of him, like, oh my God, I think Bob, like you, he was like, I didn't realize how important this award was, as you were going, is he going to talk to me? And Fauci's thinking of I think he was changing some things around. It was very much a live event, which was incredible because he responded to that reel. So that reel had to be there. All those people had to be there. There was nothing that didn't work right. It was perfect. And you guys responded really well. That takes a really good producer to be able to flip a show and to keep going.
It was funny, the back end stuff that we were going through. I'm watching Bob. I have my cue cards. I have my numbers. I have my area where I'm going to give him his numbers. And then as soon as Fauci started talking, I'm like, there it goes. And I'm over here, Cliff, what are we going to do? All right, we got to move this. And then Bob's like, I'm like, all right, make sure you mute yourself, Bob, because we're, make sure you mute yourself when you're telling us what we want to do next. But yeah, it was, I thought it was really, it was just really nice how we were able to pivot and just, get into whatever we had to do next. And like you did say, Phyllis, he felt it. He definitely felt it because he felt like, oh, okay. Like, coming in, he probably didn't, he knew that he was getting this award, but he probably, I think in his position, should always be a little bit apprehensive because you don't know what people are going to tell you, or what they're going to say because he's so used to, like Bob said, getting beat up. So when he saw that it was nothing but positiveness and a lot of love for him, like you said, Phyllis, he just jumped in. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to feel natural. And the reason why that, Diane, why we had it so long is because initially he only said he was wanting to talk for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So we had to build this all around that 5 minutes and then his Q&A, but he blew past that 5 minutes.
20 minutes.
Yeah, that's one of the things that when I heard that comment in the class that I had after, I was like, to me, this was a really humanizing event for Fauci. A lot of what you see in the media is him just very straightforward, like in doctor mode, like this is what it is. Here is me being a professional. And I felt like the Hearst Award really was a chance to see him as a person who's doing an important thing and not just a figure. So I think that it was great. That was just one of the feedbacks that I got and that I said that I would mention in our meeting today.
Very good. And I appreciate that. And any other comments you've heard you want to share? Welcome to the Dean of the College of Health and Human Services. What were your thoughts about yesterday?
Well, sadly, I missed the first half because I had a meeting with a donor that was scheduled that I just didn't feel comfortable rescheduling at the last minute. So I went back and watched the YouTube this morning, and yeah, it exceeded everything that I expected. I was not aware of sort of the breadth and depth of commentators that you are identifying and including. So, I was pretty impressed. I was included with such such impressive people in the whole Bay Area and nationally. And I mean, there's lots of reasons to have picked Dr. Fauci for this. And I think that you did an amazing job of, Bob, in terms of kind of introducing why he was the person who was the recipient. And I really like that you were able to sort of personalize some of it with questions that pulled on, history from decades ago. And that's at least the piece, I haven't sat down and watched it end to end because I just haven't had time. So I watched half of it yesterday and chunks of it this morning. So maybe I don't have the whole picture, but I was just, it was fun to see him finally smile.
Yes.
Right. So it just seemed like there was a lot where he was like poker faced and very somber. And so that lighthearted sort of personal, he talked about his Jesuit education as a high schooler and his college days. And, it really turned into something that was not pro forma, I guess. It would really, I think, echoing what many people have said, it sort of touched his heart and drew him in. So I think the way you laid out the landscape that built up to him speaking, and then how you engaged him in the conversation and really helped all of us learn much more about him than, I've known him from NIH with my HIV research and stuff. So, but I've never dug in to understand who he is from that more personal lens. So I thought that it was great fun.
It was indeed great fun. And I thank you for being a part of it. Phyllis was always willing to let me run with this, and I thank her for letting me deal with that in my creative mind. And then working with the Adobe people and the editor who I described what we wanted to do. And I said, Tanner's going to send you all of these videos. We ordered them the way we thought they should go, put them together and show us a draft. He did. We said, this is good, but we want to take some out, put something else in. We're waiting for this. We moved it around. And students, one of the things you should remember when you're producing, whether it's a newscast or a special event or something like that, be flexible. No matter what you get, if you're inviting input from a variety of sources, always be ready and willing to put something in new that comes in late that will work better or that will really add to the moment. And that's what we had to do on this one. We didn't get Dan Rather's video until, I think, Saturday before we started this editing. And we said, oh my God, where are we going to put him? I said, I don't care, but we got to put him somewhere because he's definitely going to be a visual draw. And so we had a variety of other people. The mayor's comments came in a little late. And I know Tanner and I have been waiting for people to turn in videos. And then all of a sudden, boom. So that's the other learning experience. When you invite the public or someone else to contribute something, count on them to delay. Put it off to the last minute. You may even have to poke them. And I poked a whole bunch of people verbally and told them, listen, if you're going to be in this thing, I need it now. Turn it in now. And they actually did it. And Dan Rather was one of them. Through Alex Cheberno, our co-winner last year for the Hearst Award, I called him and I said, I want Dan Rather in this thing. Where is he? And he said, I'm going to call his people right now. And I said, tell them I say we're holding a spot for him. We're waiting for his video. I wanted to put pressure on him in a very polite way, but in a pressuresome way. And he came through. And one of the things that I've heard more and more and more, you got Dan Rather? You got Dan Rather? That was awesome. So
We should have had Dan Rather last year. We didn't get, you see, Dan Rather had to come through because he was supposed to be our guest last year with Alex. Alex only showed up and Dan couldn't. So it's everything with the Hearst Award has built on each other for years. Because Bob, the way you work it, it's just because of the history you've been here. You can go back and you can go ahead and build on other people that have been here to go ahead and grow the next event. So this is not just something that it's easy to do just one time. It's been built for years and years to this point. And so that's how it's grown this far. Someone had said to me yesterday in one of the chairs meetings, they said, why did we have Mary Papazian? You should have just been a school of journalism. What they don't understand, and Robin understands, I think, is that we have not always been the favored child with some of the stories that we have written. So it's really important to have Mary Papazian to see what we can do in a positive light, not just sometimes the negative publicity that comes when our students win these awards, but it's at the expense of the university with, some of the things that we've, found investigation and stuff. So this was positive to see her smile and talk highly of journalism. And that took, I don't know, since I've been here, 2016, I walked in and it seemed like they were always mad at us. The presidents and the provosts were always mad at us, and now everybody's happy with us. But that took a while to get that relationship to turn again and for them to see the value that we're really doing in a positive way. I mean, I think other people in the community thought, yeah, you're doing this administration. But for us, we're going, oh my gosh, we do want to have a solid relationship with the upper administration because that helps us grow. And we did it. Mary Papazian was smiling too. She was very happy. The whole team was very happy, which is really important to us as well.
And the other thing, Clifton, you made sure that I could see that she was still with us towards the end of the program. And I said, as long as I can see her, I'm going to call her back into the program. He's opened up now. He's relaxed. We're joking about baseball games. We're talking about interacting with each other. I can see her smiling in the corner. Students, when you're on video or you're doing Zoom or you're doing television or whatever it is, and you see a participant like we do now in our classes, and you think they should be saying something, they want to say something, call on them, bring them back into it. Because I think that really helped at the end to get her back into the whole mix of what we were doing. Anna, I want to go to you next because I want to thank you. We've been thinking a lot about social media every time you would talk at one of our planning meetings. Tell me what your perspective was of social media's reaction yesterday.
I think it was really good. Thank God we streamed on YouTube, I would say. So that was amazing. We got some really good comments. We got lots of comments. As of right now, our views are around like 4,000 or something.
Wow.
Like that. So it's going to keep on growing. We are adding some new elements to it, chapters. We're going to re-upload. We're going to add it to a playlist. So there are some things we'll do. Yeah, we were, posting on social everywhere throughout, so that did well. I think the only comment from our social media was that they wish, there were two comments, they wish we featured more student questions. And the second one, what was the, if there was a way for people from watching on YouTube to ask questions and have them, where would they need to go to ask questions, if Fauci could talk about certain things. But overall, there was a lot of support. So if you were to take these comments, there were not even one negative comment, I would say, about Dr. Fauci. Everybody was like, love, I appreciate, I'm so proud to be a SJSU, student. So we didn't get any negative press in that sense through comments at all. And then if I can just make a few comments about the whole event. I mean, I am myself impressed at how slick and polished this event was. And there's a big kudos to the entire team, specifically Cliff, how it was beautifully managed. There was no glitches, and that happens all the time. If there was a glitch, I think it would be forgiven, but it was just so smooth and authentic. So that's one thing that I want to point out. Second thing I also would want to say is, I know we were prepared to give Fauci 5 minutes to talk, and I felt through these comments on social media that they wanted to hear more from him, because that was an amazing opportunity to have him there and have him speak directly to our audiences. So that's something, and I know we were prepared only for 5 minutes, but because we had such an amazing host, you, Bob, you really did a fantastic job with that connection. I wish that event was an hour and a half, knowing how he warmed up to us. And the last thing, and I think that's what we wanted to accomplish, and you, Bob, and your department specifically, you created a report. Fauci will come here when he's in the area, 100%. He has a place, he has a scholarship in his name, and the mission's been accomplished.
Right. Thank you, Ann. That was a great report, and that you're thinking along the same lines as we were. The journalism faculty talked about this. We decided to do this. How will we explain it? It's not a journalist getting an award and tying it into what's happening in the world. Students, suggestion, when you go out in the world and you remind them that you were part of this, as you should, because they'll remember it, you should tell them, we went through those machinations, but we decided there was a mission here. There was something we were tapping into nationally. We knew that the public wanted to hear from this guy, no matter who was beaten up on it. And so we zeroed in on that. And you notice we stayed completely away from politics. And it was still a very popular thing to watch. That was one of the things that I felt very good about. We did pull that off very well. Anybody else have any other thoughts about
real quick, Dean Shellington brings up a good point, though. When we do, Anna, when you do the cut, we should probably knock out that first 40 minutes of just of that blank time. But I also did, so right when I got home, and I'll rewind real quick. Prior to it, Bob, Cliff, and I were talking, okay, at the end, we're going to just let him go when it's time for him to let go. And I really felt like that rapport was built, that he did not want to go. He was smiling. He was laughing. He was ready to hang out for a little while longer. But we did have to let him go. I did get home and I punched in Fauci and SJSU just on a Google search. And I did find it a lot of places. ABC News ran it on their Facebook, but on their Facebook, just as well as Twitter, we were getting a lot of, we as a school weren't getting hate as much as, obviously Fauci was getting some mean comments, but overall it was quite positive. But, and you could tell he will come back.
Oh yeah, I think he will. And I am taking him to that baseball game. If God willing and we live long enough, I want to do that. And I'm sorry, it might be in Wrigley Field, but we're going to that game. Having said that, one of the other things, I got an email from a colleague of ours, one of our faculty, Peter Young, this morning, and he said, congratulations to everybody who worked on the ceremony. It was fantastic. In fact, it was so great that it was placed on the ABC News Live for ABC O&Os and all of the affiliates across the United States. This also includes Hawaii, where he lives. He said Dr. Fauci's award ceremony made it to the top of the trending stories of the day on social media and played across the nation to include Honolulu. So congratulations, the San Jose State bug rose and people got to see and hear about this, so there'll probably be more people on it. I'm very happy about that. Most importantly though, and Robin, you can help me with this part, the media handled it very well. They didn't really hassle us too much. And I thought there was going to be some pushback. What do you mean you don't have Dr. Fauci to talk to us after the event? Why not? I heard no complaints about that whatsoever.
Well, I think that's one reason why we didn't get as many people in the media availability, obviously, because Dr. Fauci wasn't there. But we still got some pretty decent media coverage. All the stories were positive, and I expect that more will come in. Yeah, and I just wanted to expand on one thing that Diana said, and Phyllis touched on it, and Juan touched on it. Diana used the word humanitarian. And I had said, this was so great for the university, and it elevated our stature and for your department. But when just from a humanitarian point of view, if you put yourself in Dr. Fauci's position and all the crap he's been through, the death threats, the politics of his office, just 24/7 working, you could just see that when he came in and he finally did let his guard down and he started taking in all these accolades, just how wonderful it was that we were able to honor him that way, just from to give him that those kind of kudos, just from a personal standpoint. I'm so proud that we were able to elevate him in that way, if you know what I mean.
I do. And that,
Yeah, we made him feel happy. We made him feel good. He's so used to probably going home and getting beat down that I think it
In a
did
way,
elevate
this
him.
is his home, because with the Kramer and everything he explained, and then his daughter being in San Francisco, his roots are here. We sometimes forget that. But what better place in the Bay Area than to award him, where he made a big influence on HIV and all that stuff going down. He made connections back then, which just shows you the things that you do in your past always come back to haunt you or bless you. And I think that did. And I think that's why the Bay Area had a special, had special fondness for him, and his reception was so well too.
well, I promised to keep this meeting short, and I'm really thrilled that our students got a really front row seat to history unfolding at San Jose State. So I'm going to go to our 3 students and ask them to help me wrap this up. What will you remember about this whole experience? You can call it ordeal when you're referring to Bob.
Well, for me yesterday, I was maybe more nervous than I should have been. I was freaking out right beforehand, like there's nothing I can do if this thing goes terribly wrong. I was pacing my room during the first, 10 minutes of the event, like something's going to happen, something's going to go wrong. And then it turned out beautifully, and it was absolutely wonderful. And that moment, that anxiety leading into that relief, I'll always remember that. So it was great. It was great.
Thank you, Tanner. How about you? Any more thoughts, Diana, before I go to Zoe?
For me, I think the big thing was just that all aspects of this have just been people talking to people. Sometimes it's so easy to build something up as being like a bigger obstacle than it is, when it's really just figuring out who you have to talk to, just person on person, and moving things along. When we first started out the process, it just trying to figure out everything that it would take to be able to put the award ceremony on made it seem like some monstrous task. But each time we had a conversation, each time we had a meeting, it was just like, nope, here's 3 things that we need to do in the next week. Here's 2 things that need to happen. Okay, we're just shooting out emails with the update. It's not a big deal. We're going to move on. And it just made everything so much more real. It wasn't simple, but it was. Each step was simple. It might be complicated, but it was still simple.
Very good. Thank you. Zoe?
If I could just do a quick follow-up on that point, I think it's really amazing how we took something as simple as Zoom and Google Slides, and we put a lot of sophisticated elements together into that. But really, that's how we ran the show. And there's a lot of more sophisticated ways to do webcasting. There's a lot of more sophisticated ways to do socially distant broadcasting. But the fact that we were able to do this, and it didn't stop us. We had a couple laptops, and we were able to do a production like that and get this much bandwidth out in the news nationwide for the universities. Pretty awesome. And one of the best things in all the darkness of being distant and not being on campus and everything is that it now is just a click. And not even a sophisticated click, just any celebrity that we want to reach out to and see if they can come on and chat with us for a little bit, or any figure for that matter. We don't have to worry about travel. We don't have to worry about honorarium necessarily. If they're willing to give a half an hour of their time to just pop on a Zoom, we can do this. So it's one of the bright spots of the world the way it is right now.
Excellent point. Excellent point.
Hey, real quick, Bob, I sent you Clifton, and I sent Clifton Phyllis. We're gonna have to get Greta Thunberg for our Earth Day celebration, and let's do an Earth Day celebration. Imagine that. That'll be fun. Yeah, we did it last semester for the diversity class. I think it'd be kind of cool to maybe try to push. So See
You
what's
know, I mean, and I know you got some other people to talk to, Bob. I was going to say, Juan, remember, Bob was not even in the picture until, you know, late this summer. So you had a lot of catching up to do. But Juan, you had spent learning Zoom because when I took over his class, we had to do everything Zoom. And so you were really learning it. You had no idea how you're going to apply those skills to production because we did everything Bob did with the production, but we had to do it all now on Zoom. And that was crazy. So he was becoming a pro. And actually, I'm just saying it took, although Zoom seems simple, it took you about, what, 6-8 months to really get up to speed, to get to where you started realizing you had to have a home studio. You had to realize all this stuff. And so all that was preparation before we even got through all this part.
Something to remember about this year that was very important. Zoe, go ahead.
Yeah, I support the Greta Thunberg idea because, you know, with Zoom, she doesn't even have to sail or anything. But like I said earlier, I really enjoyed this whole event. Like, I thought it went so well, like way better than I could have even expected. And like in my head, I keep going back to the phase, like teamwork makes the dream work, because I think all of us worked really well together. And I think as we kept getting like more help as time went on, and like all parts of the university really came into this, everyone was really able to make it such a great event. So I don't know, I'm just really happy and proud to have seen something that like I helped work on turn out like this well, and all of us kind of did that. So I don't know, I'm just really proud of what we all did. So
No, that's very much what we wanted to know. And before I wrap it up, Juan, we haven't heard from you, and then I'll ask the dean and anyone else who has any final thoughts. Juan, any thoughts?
No, just that you know, it was a great what I sent you and Clifton. It was very organic. It felt really, you know, natural, and really it's about dreaming, and you know, realizing that it's not that impossible. All you got to do is fight for it and really push, and just being able to do it. And I think this team that's been built here, and I think that we're going to be able to do some, you know, continue to live up to this. So, you know, I'm just happy overall.
I am too. And I'm going to warn Clifton now. You see this gray hair? If you keep working with us, this is where you're headed. I'm sorry.
Look, it goes like this, bald and beautiful. It goes Bob, it goes me, it goes you. I'm in the middle.
You'll notice I have the resolution on my webcam turned down, and I'm standing back from the camera so that you can't see those things.
That's a nice trick. I like that.
I need my test for men.
Anybody else want to say anything before I wrap it up?
I think one of the other notes is just how important production planning is to any event. I mean, I'm from the event and stage production world versus the broadcasting world, but production planning is very important because and the flexibility. But if you don't have a good base plan, when things go wrong, you don't have building blocks to move around. You have to figure out what to do from scratch. So production planning is always very important. Having a plan A, B, and C, even if you end up on plan D, all that is very important. And it's not always the tools, it's how you use them. A lot of people mess things up on Zoom and like to blame Zoom as a platform, but it really more has to do with the planning of it.
Yeah.
Right. People tend to focus heavily on the technology, but make sure the content is worth watching. If you don't do that first, then you're not going to have a good production. What else would you say? Anything else from our dean? Aubrey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I'm just trying to think if there's anything worth listening to. Getting to your point about like preparing something worth watching.
Well,
yeah, I know that there's some excitement about you know, the announcement that came out yesterday about the health communications, and you know, I've been hearing from some faculty, and so I hope that, you know, we can find the next kind of time to get together, and I can't remember what our next steps are. I'll have to go back and look at my notes. But
I mean, it has to happen. We made the commitment and that we wanted it, so it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It will happen.
And I think the more that we can put together that we can agree on, the more Dr. Fauci will want to hear about. So I'm going to keep that door open with his staff and let him know we're still working on this, and we still want him to know we're looking forward to his collaboration and to invite him to have a say in this process so that when it's all over and we're ready now to do major fundraising and to solicit input from a variety of medical sources and media sources, he will be more than willing to say, I was part of this, because I had the very clear sense yesterday when we surprised him, we really surprised him. And he was happy about it. And he felt gratified. It was kind of like the final icing on the cake of thank you, but oh my goodness, you're going to remember me forever? That's fantastic. I'm looking forward to nurturing that relationship. I hope the university will. I
meet with Matt Siegel on next Tuesday, and we discuss, the initial agreement.
Yes.
Just the endowment and stuff like that.
So,
yeah, the money and all
we need to maintain a relationship with Patricia and some of his other team members as well, because that'll help keep us in a good link with him while he gets busy and goes off and does other things too.
Absolutely. In fact, let me tell the students, one of the things I've learned when I was director was after you have a guest that does something for you, whether you liked it or not, send them a thank you note. I intend to send them a thank you card for Thanksgiving and to remind them that we're going to be keeping in touch. And periodically during the holidays and the rest of the next year, we'll do the same. Stay in their minds. Don't let it be one and out. Because if you do that, then they'll forget you. But if you stay in one day after another, eventually they'll say, I wonder how they're doing over there at San Jose State. And they'll check back in with us. My last thought is this. You guys are amazing. And this core group is what really helped me to get through this. Phyllis has gotten to know me. Juan knows me very well. I have these big ideas. And then I try to sell it to someone to see if they're going to go for it. And the faculty were the first ones to say, you think you can get him? No, they didn't say that. They actually said, yeah, we unanimously agree he should get it. Now you go get it, okay? They put it on my shoulders. Students, when you get someone that does that, they're showing trust in your judgment. Don't be afraid. Show them what you can do. Use your connections. Use your critical thinking. Go on out there and see what you can make happen. We got this because a friend of mine at Adobe knows Mr. Burks, who's a friend of Dr. Fauci's. So use your connections to get to the connection you want to do. And then when I finally was able to get them to say yes, I contacted Phyllis during the summer. I said, we got the email, he's going to do it. We were all excited. We couldn't wait to tell the community. And then we had to think strategically. Dr. Fauci's in the middle of a political storm. Wait, don't go public yet. Think about it. Get all the stakeholders on campus together at the beginning of the semester. Talk it through, figure it out, make sure the faculty knows what we're going to say, and then build it as Clifton said beautifully, build a plan. Don't throw this together at the last minute. Even if they blow it up at the last minute, be prepared. Talk it through with Cliff. Cliff is an excellent source for how to produce something like this. And certainly, Phyllis has done these kind of special events at 2 universities. I've done them here. Juan, my God, man, I couldn't have done this without you. And the students, I'll always remember you because you all looked at me at that first meeting when I met you. You're like, oh my God, what's he going to put us through? And it turned out to be one of the best collaborations I've ever had.
You know, every time you propose somebody, there's usually about 4 names out there that it's never who Bob originally wants. It's always 4 people. So what he has to do, he has to try those 4 people. But usually Providence comes in and they can't do it for some reason and they fall away. And so he sticks in there with the person he wants. And then they go, of course we want that person. That's happened with Alex Chebano and Dan Rather. Remember? Donna said, I know them personally. And everybody said, well, you won't be able to get them, and we couldn't get any names. And so if you stick with whoever you want, you're eventually going to get it because everybody else says, oh, that's during like sweep season or something. They give you some reason why they can't do it. You'd think that everybody would want to be honored, but not everybody wants to be honored. And we were scared about Dr. Fauci because at first he didn't seem like they really wanted the honor. They're like, that's good that you're going to do it, but oh well. And now I think if he were asked that again, you know, that same question, it'd be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. So we have to educate people who say what SJSU is. The problem is everybody, oh, it's just another university. Well, we're not just another university. You know, a lot of them probably get all these commencement, invitations and stuff. as he will continue to do. But this was something that Bob really had a dog, dog-eared them all constantly.
I did. I tried. I did my best. And for the dean, I'm going to give you a thought. Feel free to hold on to it to the next time you have a meeting with a group of deans with the president. I sent the president an email when I was recovering from hip surgery. And I said, for Black History Month next year, you know who we should try to get? We should try to get Tyler Perry from his studios down in Atlanta. Because during the summer, his name was popping up a lot also. He was helping to pay for funerals for the victims of the police shootings. He was showing up and helping churches and helping communities and the marchers stay safe and providing all kinds of things. He's the type of person that not only the Black community, but I think now the media-oriented community embraces fully. He was showcased on the Oscar ceremony and the Emmy ceremony, I believe. He's the kind of person that not only speaks to the Black community, but to all of us. The next time you
Honey has a crush on him, so you know that she.
I do. But the next time you go to a meeting, just tell him it's doable. And Bob told you so. Okay?
The note is written down on my desk.
There you go. Very good. And then Juan knows that I should be saying the number one person I've been wanting to give for years is Barack Obama. If you want some help doing that, Clifton, call me.
Yeah, to the students, anytime in the future you get a call from Bob, you're gonna look at it on the phone and you're gonna be like, okay, what's he gonna ask for? But you should pick it up anyway because it turns out pretty cool.
Your soul, that's all.
Take a deep breath because I'm in to open up your mind to something new. But for the students, thank you for your contributions. I hope you'll always put this on your resume and remember it for the rest of your careers and certainly for your lives. And for all my colleagues here at the university, this is a beautiful experience that we'll carry with us the rest of our lives. We did something that will never be forgotten. That's important in life. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Zoe, Clifton, Tanner. Thank you all. Thank you for all.
Take care, everyone. It was a beautiful thing. Have a nice one.
Thank you.
I'm off to my next meeting. Yeehaw.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Good job. Good job, Bob. All right. See you later, guys.
Thank you.
Bob, at
Yes.
some point, I would like to talk to you. When would